got it?
What I would see, being what I could never be.
Woo! Oh, wow.
Yeah, funny how falling feels like flying for a little while. Flying feels like falling
The singer.
for a little while.
Welcome to Day 10, Slow Your Soul. As you can tell, we just did a little staff karaoke with Pastor Jess. There's actually a little word on the street at Living Hope is we love it when Pastor Jess sings because we think he sounds like Hugh Jackman, right? From Greatest Showman. He's our own Hugh Jackman. So if you could just visit all our houses as we do chapter 10, Pastor Jess, and sing us all these songs, that'd be amazing.
Well, she asked, is it really a song? So I had to sing it a little bit.
I appreciate that. So here we go. We're talking all things chapter 10, Dyin and Flyin. That sounds fun. Letty wants to start us out with a question.
Yeah, so I really like how by the end of the chapter you're teaching us to see God as thou instead of it, meaning that we should not experience God, but we should be present with Him. And there's a quote that I like that says, to be in a genuine relationship with someone, our whole being needs to be given, involved, and brought into sacrificial conduct. And you, Pastor Jess, would you say that us learning to be present with God and seeing Him as thou, does that actually help us be more present with others?
Yeah, it does. So let's go back to the ancient world, go back to idolatry, go back to Baal. So this is how the ancient world would treat a God. We need fruitfulness from you.
Yeah.
And so we're going to get this bartering system with you. We're going to sacrifice, we're going to do some ritual. They do some horrible things they shouldn't do to try to get this God to make their land fertile or give them what they need. We do the same thing with Jesus. That's objectifying a God. You're an it. If I say things just right, if I pray things just right, if I do things just right, then I'm going to get the blessing. I'm going to get the it that I want from you. You do that, but you don't know Him. You know how He makes you feel, but you don't know Him. And so we carry that over into our relationships. Now our relationships are objectified. You're an it to me. You exist to make me happy or to satisfy something in me or to do something for me. So my marriage just fall apart, on it goes. But if we can learn to be present with God and know Him, who we cannot see, this requires inner life. It requires aspects of heart and mind to really connect with Jesus in very real ways. It naturally spills over to people. Because if you can be with somebody you cannot see, it is easy to look at somebody and then all of a sudden you're thinking, this person that God has created is sacred also. And so he or she is not going to be an it to me. They're going to be a thou. They're going to be sacred. And so I'm not going to feel them for my own enjoyment. I'm going to experience them relationally. If I experience them relationally, this means I will love them and receive love from them. That's how that works. So yeah, it is a huge carryover. Good question.
I love that you're going to point us here on page 124, but where we're going with Slow Your Soul is this Sabbath practice. And so getting this understanding, we can't actually practice Sabbath if God isn't it. If He's this object, if He's this experience we're looking for, it's only in being present with Him on Sabbath that we can truly experience this Sabbath rest. Talk to us about the implications of being present with God and how that's going to work out in our Sabbath practices.
When I first started writing this book, I considered just making it all practical, how to set up the practice of a Sabbath, throwing some other things in. But I felt like the Lord was weighing on my heart real hard. Don't jump into even having the Sabbath practice done until people are connecting with me in a certain way. Otherwise, what it will just be a practice. The goal is not the practice. The goal is the pursuit of Jesus, and the practice is the vehicle He gives us to pursue Him in.
Beautiful.
So that's kind of why I approached it this way. So when you get into this, like Sabbath for me happens in the mornings. It's actually part of my devotional life.
Wow.
So I'm planning, like when your kids come over for our Sabbath, in my devotional life, I'm already in a relationship with Jesus. I'm loving Him. He's loving me. He's talking to me about your kids. That all come from the thou. the relational time that I had with Jesus. So what happens is learning. I mean, the whole deal is learning to contemplate.
Wow.
I give you another word for contemplation: abide.
Wow.
I mean, this is what Jesus was saying. He was when he was saying abide in me. He was saying contemplate in me. Let our thoughts join together. Let them emerge together. I'll let your thoughts be in me. I'll let my thoughts be in you. It will change your life. What is Sabbath? Sabbath is really a time. Well, actually, Sabbath and the Lord's Day together is where we express that contemplation. For what we're thinking in our minds comes out of our mouths, and we begin to share with one another. So going back to your questions, that's what connects us with one another. I don't think this is why phones and everything else, or which we'll talk about, are having such trouble with us tomorrow.
Actually.
So that's why that is causing so much trouble, is because the phone is a way to treat a person as an it.
Wow.
So if we don't, so we've got to be better at and more habitual at treating somebody as a thou.
Yes.
It's okay to have the phone to make these light connections with, but to really be with somebody, it has to be a relational experience. I have to exchange things. The Lord has to be in me loving you, the Lord loving you back through me. I'm receiving that love, and you have that interchange. Yeah. It's difficult because our entire culture, we objectify everything.
We do.
And I tell you what you call that. You call that pursuing feelings.
Ooh.
Now, when we don't objectify people, when we want a relationship with people, you call that love.
Wow.
And there's the difference right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, in an act of resistance, actually, against that, tomorrow we're going to look at phone use, but today we're going to do something so special. We are going to write a letter to our spouse, or if you're single, a good friend or a sister or brother, and we're going to tell them how we see them as a thou, a sacred human created in the image of God, someone we want to be present with. It's going to be an incredible experience, and we can't wait to see what God does.
Let me jump in there. You asked me, and are we supposed to send that to our spouse?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
The answer to that question is no.
Okay.
And
This is for you.
Yeah, and here's why. Because we'll flower it up for them. What happens if the only reason you're writing this letter is as an expression from the depth of your heart to God? This is what I think, and no one may never see it.
Wow.
Will you just kind of cheat it through, make it an easy day, and hardly do anything with it? Or will you really let your soul settle on that person whom you love, and let your heart enlarge upon the person? So that's why I don't think necessarily you need to send it to your spouse. It's much more of a sacred thing you're doing between you and God. I think it'll have tremendous results.
So being present starts with our Slow Your Soul experience with God every morning. But it's supposed to work its way out into our world, and we're becoming people who are present with one another. It's an incredible journey. We love you, and we'll see you tomorrow.